Are you looking for ways to get better leads? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you the things that you need to do in order to get better quality leads to increase your revenue. Hello, everyone. My name is Alexis D'Agostino. I'm the CEO of Think Consulting Group, and you are watching the Think Tank. Welcome to the Think Tank YouTube channel, where we share tips and tricks on how to scale your business to the next level. This is not fugazi shit, guys. We actually have built hundreds of businesses, 15 of our own, as large as $350 million. So you are actually learning real shit that works. So listen up to the whole video, because this is going to be a really important one. This is actually what took me from 6 to 7 figures, and I'm going to teach you everything you have to know about lead generation right now. Let's go. All right, so I'm going to share with you the 3 things that you need to do in order to explode your leads and your revenue. All right, the first thing is achieving real success with lead generation is you have to weed out the low quality leads. I know for us, we get hundreds of applications. We probably cancel 20 to 30% of the applications that come in because they're just not good. They might not be able to afford us. They might be from a different country. They might not be the right personality fit. Whatever it is, you want to set up a process that will weed those out, because if you are wasting your time on sales calls with people that are not the right leads, then what's going to happen is you're wasting that time that you should be spending going to find the right lead. So it's really important. As CEOs, the number one job we have is to sell, but you have to optimize and prioritize your time. So I know for me, I am very picky with exactly who I go with in terms of taking lead calls, because at the end of the day, if you take lead calls that are just not the right fit, then you're just going to end up wasting your own time. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to make sure that you build a process such as an application or some sort of way to pre-qualify your leads before they even get on the phone. So now, if I do preface this with one thing. If you are brand new and you are straight out of the gate with a brand new offer, take whatever calls that you can get. And the reason why I say that is because you want to learn, and the sales process is a learning process. So the more calls you take, the more comfortable you get, the better you get with your script, the better that you get at selling your offer. So this is really meant for people that already are making sales and are already having good lead flow. So just a caveat. So how do we dedicate your time to leads that are actually really interested in your service? You have to pre-qualify your leads. So pre-qualifying your leads allows you to have the information up front that you need in order to actually make sure that you have the right person on the phone. There's a lot of different ways that you could do this. So the first is the actual conversation, especially if these leads come from organic social media. The first step is making sure that you, if you're the one in your DMs or your DM appointment setter, whomever is in your inbox, that they are asking the right questions in the conversation. So our conversations in the DMs, we're pre-vetting people, and we'll ask questions like, oh, sounds like you're already making it to 7 figures. Good job. And then someone will go, no, I'm sitting at about 80. Like, we get that kind of response. So now, boom, we already know that that's a potential good lead. Then we'll say, oh, cool. Where are you from? I'm from New York. And if they tell me they're from the Philippines, it's not a problem that they're from the Philippines, but most of the time Philippines cannot afford our services. So we know, okay, this is probably not the right lead for us because we're very, very high ticket, right? The other thing that you have to understand is this is your opportunity to understand their personality, their biggest challenges, their biggest wins, but also who are they? You can get a sense if you like somebody through a DM. Are they standoffish? Are they closed? Are they open? Are they friendly? Whomever you want as a client, you can determine that through your conversation. So it's really important to understand the characteristics of exactly who you want, who they are, what challenges that you solve that they need to have. Why would they be interested in your service? Like, if you're a coach, do they even want a coach? Do they understand the value of a coach? Do they have a coach? These are all questions that you can actually pre-ask in a conversation. The other thing that you could do is a form of a questionnaire. So we have an application, and the most important thing, if you want people to fill out your application, you have to set up your offer as something that is a luxury item. This is something, hey, we only take 5 a month, which is true, right? So for our own coaching program, we only take a certain amount. We have hundreds of apps. We only take 4 to 6 a month. That's it. So we have more applications than we have spots for people, which is a good problem to have. So for us, the way we market our offer is that, hey, this is only for top people. This is only for the top of the line. So you can apply if you want, but you have to apply. So we tell them this is more of an interview of you than it is of us. We have plenty of apps, right? So when you position it in that way, people are like, oh crap, like I need to apply for this, right? So you have to position your offer in a way where people understand why they have to apply and that they're actually willing to apply. But the application is important because in this application, and I'm gonna have my web editor put this here, or my video editor, I should say, put the application here so that you can see like all the questions that we ask. You'll see we ask a lot of questions, right? And it's because we're pre-vetting them because we have a lot of apps and we can't take all 500 phone calls. So we have to be able to see who is an actual good lead and who is not. So during this process, you want to gain as much information as possible so that you can understand if they are the right lead ahead of time. This actually makes your selling process so much easier because you have a lot of information about them already. So you can almost cut out some questions and just get down to it. And that's the most important thing, is saving your time, but also making sure that they're the right lead. Because when you get the right lead on the phone, boom, you sell very quickly. But when you have a lead that is not the right lead, those are the calls where you walk off and you're like, oh, that was a waste of time. So that's what we're trying to avoid here. If you really want to scale your business to the next level, you have to be productive with your time, and you have to make sure that you have the right leads getting on the phone and that you have the right leads that are turning into clients, because the wrong clients just take the spot of the good clients. And you want to make sure that you have good clients, because those are the clients that come back again, and again. And those are the clients that are going to pay you tenfold, because they're not only going to refer people to you, but they're also going to end up giving you more and more money over time. And it is way harder to go out and find new clients than it is to keep the clients you already have. So do the work in the beginning to get clients that are the right fit. And I promise you, you will see your revenue explode. The second thing that you want to do is you want to actually continue to pre-qualify these people while they are on the phone with you. Now, this could be during your 30-minute discovery call, or sometimes we even do a 15-minute call before the discovery call to make sure they're the right fit. Why is this important? Because you want to make sure they are going to be the right personality as a client, because at the end of the day, it takes way more to take a bad client and try to make them a good client. And it's only going to take a spot for a good client. So you want to make sure that they are the right fit, because pre-qualifying doesn't just happen before the phone, but it also happens while you're on the phone as well. The other important thing too is when you're on the phone, your mute button is your best friend. Let them talk. Make sure that during this process, you listen, because that's going to be the most important thing. When you get to the end of the call, when you go to give your offer, you need to write down the 2 or 3 things that they said. Like, for instance, I really need to scale my business. I need to put food on the table. I really want to show my daughter how I could be successful. I have tried doing this for 6 months and I haven't made any money. If I don't get this to work in the next 3 months, then I'm going to have to go back to a 9-to-5. These are all things that you can use at the end of your call to then flip them. And the thing is the most important thing is, let's use the last example. You can say to them, hey, well, you told me that you only have 3 months left of this. So why wouldn't you want to put your best foot forward and get help that can actually get you there, rather than spinning your wheels? It hasn't worked for you for 6 months, correct? Yes, you're right. Okay. You said you only have 3 months, right? Yes, of course. Okay. So now you're basically having them sell for you. Sometimes you can't get tone in an application, and we like to hear personality. So depending on what you're doing, it's really important to make sure you allow them to talk as much as possible so that you can understand if they are the right lead for you, because the wrong client will cost you tenfold, because they will destroy your business, destroy your name, etc. And I've had the worst people, and I've had gut feelings about people that I did not want to put them in my program, but I did anyway, and it ended up biting me in the butt. So again, pre-qualification is not just prior, but it's also during the phone call as well, because you want to make sure that you have the right person that is good for your program. So to talk about the questions that you want to ask, you want to make sure you understand why they're interested in you, in your service or your company. You want to understand what their biggest challenges are. You want to understand, are they willing to hire X? So if you're a coach, are they willing to hire a coach? You want to know, are they willing to hire a marketing agency? Whatever you do, whatever service base you do, you want to make sure they're willing to do that. The other thing that you want to ask is, you want to ask them, are they willing to invest? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to put somebody on the phone that's not even willing to invest. And you want to ask them, what is that number, right? The other question I like to ask is, have you hired X before, whatever the service is? So again, a coach, have you hired a coach before? Because that's a great indicator if someone is willing to hire for whatever you do. So those are really the main questions that we like to ask, but there's a lot of different questions that you could do. We A/B test these things. So change out questions all the time and see if you get different results. The most important thing is to have questions that will help prevent all these leads for you so that you can make sure that you have the right lead in front of you. The third thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you have an email sequence from the moment they fill out the application to the time they have the call. And the purpose of this is almost to scare them. And the reason why this is important, because that will wean out the wrong people. So we send out emails such as, if you're willing to invest, we're the right people for you. Or we'll send out, hey, here's an article on how to scale the 3 top marketing tactics we're using right now. These are the things you will learn in our program. So make sure that this is the type of stuff you want to learn before you get on the phone. All right. So those are the types of emails that we're sending. And the reason why is because we're basically pre-vetting them through our emails. We're trying to essentially scare them off, and we want them to say, oh, this isn't for me, because if they do, that's good. It means they're pre-qualifying themselves, which is great. So an email sequence is incredibly important. You want to make sure that you hit them at least a minimum of 3 times before they jump on the call with really important content that will either get them excited about the phone call, which will make the sale even easier, or will scare them away. And at the end of the day, it will save you so much time and effort. So those are the 3 main things that you need to do in order to be successful and get the right people through the door for your business. I promise you, you do those 3 things and your revenue is going to skyrocket. Thank you for listening. And this is the Think Tank. And if you want more, then hit that subscription button so that you can get more on how to scale your business to the next level. Well, I'm going to take you.